Here we go. So again, Jay Noland here. I want to welcome everyone to this broadcast. We call it the SBH Owners Update. We have our attorney here, Mr. Daryl Williams. He's our lead attorney. He's been doing a fantastic job helping us understand all of our rights, helping us understand the navigation of the case. And so we wanted to bring Daryl on today to be able to talk to you direct. You know, when I started SBH, years ago, I started with the focus of doing things the right way, building from integrity first. And we've felt strongly, myself, the other co-owners of the company, such as Scott Harris, Mr. Tommy Sacca, and others, we felt strongly that we've done an incredible job in communicating with people, bringing world-class products to the world, and have really had a great impact, we feel, on the well-being of everyone from multiple different angles. So what we want to do is we want to address some things head on today in regards to the suit that we have going on with the FTC. We've been very, very disgruntled about what's happened here. We feel like it's been an injustice. And so we have a progress going on in the court system. So I think it's better, rather than I speak on any specifics, let's turn this over to our attorney, Mr. Daryl Williams, and let him begin to speak about what he's got to talk about. It says in the announcement that we came out that Daryl has a lot to talk about in regards to SBH and what's going on here. So, Mr. Daryl Williams, over to you.
Okay, I'm just delighted to be here. I will tell you that I know Jay Noland and his wife, Nina. I know Scott Harris and his wife, and I know Tommy Sacca and his wife. They are the three main defendants in this case. Of course, Success by Media was also sued, and Success by Health, a subsidiary, was sued. I'm not representing those corporate entities because the court, for reasons that escape me, decided it would choose who the lawyers would be for those corporate entities. And I believe that that is a violation of the constitutional right of due process that's guaranteed by the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I have filed a motion in court to allow me to represent those corporate defendants. The court hasn't ruled on that yet, so we're going to see how that happens. And I have other motions that are pending. I have more to be filed. But before I talk about the actual court proceedings, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I began practicing law 44 years ago. All I have done in those last 44 years is try lawsuits. I haven't done estate planning. I haven't done personal injury work. I haven't done juvenile work. I haven't done divorce work. I've only been in the courtroom on commercial cases like this one. And so I'm very much at home in this type of lawsuit. I have a degree in economics, so I understand economics and how the free market works. I am a constitutional scholar, so I've spent a lot of time in many of my lawsuits doing that. I have a long history of public speaking. I have appeared before a congressional committee in the House Rayburn building in Washington, D.C., testifying about issues before the House there. I've been on C-SPAN, therefore. Audie Cornish on NPR came to Phoenix, Arizona to interview me with regard to one of my cases. And I've always felt bad when I'm on local television news coming out of the courtroom because I never know who that old guy is that's masquerading as me. Because when I see myself in the mirror shaving in the morning, I will tell you I look as young as I looked when I was in my mid-30s. And I certainly feel that way. I feel as though all of the experience I have gained in the 44 years I have been in the courtroom have prepared me to help my good friend, Jay Noland. I don't like representing people if I don't know them. I'm at that point in my career where I can be picky, and I don't need to represent some of the people I've represented in the past who have questionable cases and that sort of thing. So when I had the opportunity to think about this case, I got in my plane, I flew up to Henderson, Nevada. I met with Jay and his wife in their house. I walked away with my paralegal from that meeting and I said, these are good people. And the government is not doing well by them. In fact, the government is doing what I've seen the government do so often. They're trying to steamroller them. They're trying to use the might and the power of our government in a way that our constitutional fathers thought never would happen. Our Constitution is designed to protect individual freedoms. It's designed to protect free enterprise. I very carefully studied the programs of Success by Health, and I concluded that is the ultimate example of free enterprise, because people can join this organization and without the necessity of building a brick and mortar store, they can market this product. They can sell the products of SBH and earn commissions from selling the product. Now, the FTC's whole position in this case is that this is a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme, named for a guy named Ponzi, who after World War I was selling ration coupons in Europe. And so he would buy them here and sell them in Europe. And he could make a lot of money in Europe by doing that, because the people in Europe were desperate for the goods and the resources that these coupons would allow them to buy. The government got wind of that, so they stopped it. So the coupons in the United States couldn't be sold in Europe. That didn't stop Mr. Ponzi, though. He kept selling the idea that he could sell these coupons in Europe. He got lots of cash from people to get him to do that, and because he couldn't turn it around, he just put that cash underneath his mattress, literally. And so he would use money from the first people who gave him money to buy coupons, to pay off, to use later people giving him money for coupons to pay off the first ones, not telling them that he couldn't buy them and sell them anymore because the government put an end to it. And so the government sued him, they won, and it was a Ponzi scheme because he was robbing, taking money from the people who came into the program late to pay off the people who came in early. And as more and more people gave him money to buy coupons, he was using that money to pay off and it was not going to go anywhere. It was a pyramid scheme because there would never be, at the end, enough money to pay the latecomers. Well, Mr. Ponzi was sentenced as a criminal, but he escaped to Italy. And in World War II, he became Mussolini's finance minister. And when Mussolini was hung upside down in Rome, hanged right next beside him was Mr. Ponzi, which was a good end for a man like him. I'm telling you, Success by Health is not anything like that. The typical pyramid scheme in America is buy a membership and then get other people to buy a membership. There's no product. And it's going to work like Mr. Ponzi's scheme worked. The more people you get buying memberships, you pay off the early buyers with the money from the late buyers. That's not this program. This program is you come in, you work hard, you sell product. And your success in this program is like any free market enterprise in America. The harder you work, the more money you can make. The government hates multi-level marketing. They think that it is a Ponzi scheme, and that's what they've alleged about Jay Noland, Scott Harris, and Tommy Sacca. But they're even worse than just alleging that this particular transaction is a Ponzi scheme. They allege that Jay Noland has a judgment against him because of doing this before. And if you go to the internet and look up Jay Noland, you'll see lots of internet sites where the FTC has proclaimed that Mr. Noland has done this before. It is not so. Jay Noland is a victim of our judicial system. The judicial system, I'm sorry to say, requires money. If you don't have the money to hire a lawyer to defend you, then you're at the mercy of your own representation. And make no mistake, it is almost impossible in any type of case, even the simplest case, for someone to represent themselves because, one, they don't know the law, they don't know the rules of procedure. I say it sort of as an analogy, they don't know where to stand in the courtroom. And so they are almost certain to lose. The only way, and I'm a cynic about this because I've seen it for 44 years, the only way you win in court is pay a lawyer. And you got to pay a lawyer a lot of money in order to keep that lawyer going, because lawyers have the same motto all of us have. And I tell my clients this all the time when they come to see me. My motto is simple. I would rather not work and not be paid than not be paid for work. We all believe that. But we also believe, as I do, that if you work hard, you can be paid and thereby earn an income for yourself and your family. What Success by Health is about is so that each of you can buy and then sell product. And when you sell product, until the FTC took it over, you would get a commission on what you sold. You didn't get a commission for recruiting people, but the FTC, when they went to court, they presented a case that said that's what Jay was doing. He was paying people to recruit people, just like Mr. Ponzi did in the 1920s and the 1930s. It's not true. But they were able to present out-of-context quotes. I call them pericopes, is the word for that, to show the court, to mislead the court. And I believe that the lawyers for the Federal Trade Commission have done just that. They misled the court at the beginning of this case into believing that Jay's a dishonest man. I don't think for a minute he's a dishonest man. I don't represent dishonest people. So when this case first came to me, I very carefully went through Success by Health's documents. I interviewed them. I looked for myself to see what it was. Now, I'll tell you the problem that we have in America. Very few people take the time to look for themselves. They believe what somebody else has told them. Well, the nice thing in the courtroom is when you finally get there and you're prepared, there are two sides to the story, and you can tell your side. Well, how did Jay and the others lose at the beginning of this case? The Federal Trade Commission was spending all their time preparing their case. They were carefully selecting snippets and out-of-context statements so that they could go into court and tell the judge a story that is not true. Now, I've got a quote here I want to show you by Mr. Tolstoy. He's a famous author. He wrote a lot of fiction. He did lots of stuff that was easy to read. It's literature. But he was a deeply religious man as well. Although a Russian, his comment here, which is on the screen, is that you can teach the simplest man the most complicated thing if that man has not already formed an opinion about it, because his mind is open. But the simplest thing cannot be explained to the most sophisticated person if he's already formed an opinion about it. Because they're not going to listen to the facts. They've got their mind made up. We've got a problem in this case. It's a very real problem. The FTC had 18 months, 2 years to work on this case so that they could go in with a dog and pony show and present a case in less than a full day of evidence to say that Jay Noland, Tommy Sacca, Scott Harris, Success by Media, which is the parent of Success by Health, and Success by Health were running a Ponzi scheme, and the judge bought it. That means this judge has confirmation bias. Why didn't they present a better case? Well, a couple of reasons. One, they only had 3 weeks to do it. It is almost impossible to argue against preparation that's been done over almost 2 years when all you've got is 3 months or 3 weeks. You're starting in a deep hole. So when someone like Jay comes to me after they've had a startling order entered against them, I always tell that client, we're starting down at the bottom of a well. And the people up there are throwing rocks on us. So we have to climb out of that well and take those rocks away from them and give them some of their own medicine. Give them the truth. Get the judge to understand what is going on in this case. So that's not a simple matter to do because there's this confirmation bias thing that's been around forever. And I see it all the time in all the cases that I try. And I've tried dozens and dozens and dozens. I tried the longest securities fraud trial in Arizona history. It lasted 10 months to a jury. We marked over 32,000 exhibits. I don't think there are many trials in the world that have been like that. It ruined my practice, by the way, because for 10 months I did nothing but that case. But you're always starting with a problem. The problem is, and I don't understand this, people think if the government has sued you, you must be wrong. Well, I never think that. I think, well, if the government sued you, you're probably not wrong. Unless it's a criminal matter or something like that, and they caught you with the bloody knife in your hand and the dead body on the floor. But mostly I think lawyers for the government graduated from the bottom of their class. They're not very smart. They can't comprehend what's going on, and someone has told them what this is about. They've got confirmation bias, and then they send their experts, they send their investigators, and they themselves as the lawyers have got one goal to prove what they think. Then they find someone like me who's going to put the wood to them because it's not true. But the problem is, it is very difficult to overcome that initial impression that is left. And the way you overcome that is with money. It's just a harsh reality of life. So one of the things I always ask clients when they come to me, I'm not saying I asked Jay this, of course, because my communications with him would be privileged. But anytime a client comes into me, I say, here's my motto. I'd rather not work and not be paid than not be paid for work. How are you going to pay me? So Jay has assured me he's going to pay me. He has said he has lots of friends, lots of followers who believe in him like I believe in him and are willing to contribute to the defense of this travesty that we've got. Okay, let me show you why it's a travesty. I want you to bring up this very first slide that I want them to see. This is a picture out of a pleading that I recently filed. It's a motion. I recently filed this in court. This is a picture on the left of Luke Curry and his wife. Luke is a bad dude. I'm sorry, that man is an adulterer. He was shacking up with Riley Calls, who's on the right. He was telling Riley, like some married, despicable men do, that he was going to leave his wife and live with her. He got caught. Riley was victimized. She was fired from Success by Health because Success by Health doesn't tolerate this kind of nonsense. And Luke Curry, who was selling product, was required to sign an agreement that he wouldn't have any of these shenanigans in the future. Careful restrictions on what he could and could not do. But boy, that burned on him. So, he quit. Now, up until this quit, there were no complaints to speak of. There might have been one or two by people who had been told they couldn't be an affiliate anymore and were a little bitter. I think it was maybe one. But as soon as Luke Curry left, he had a vendetta against Jay and the others at Success by Health. He had heard Jay candidly talk, and I've listened to these videos. I've seen the meetings. I've listened to how candid Jay Noland has been when he's talked about his past and how he agreed, like General Flynn, who was terrified for his family, and so he pled guilty because he didn't want his family, his kids, abused by our government. Now, we all know that General Flynn didn't commit a thing that was wrong, and that the people the prosecutors, the government lawyers, those people I hate, who forced General Flynn to do that, were just lying scumbags. And it has taken the news media digging to discover that General Flynn did not do any of the things to which he pled guilty, but he knew he had a problem because the government was coming after him. He never had enough money to defend, and so to protect his family, he agreed that he did things that he didn't do. Now, the case against General Flynn has been recently dismissed. He had an advantage that Jay Noland, Scott Harris, and Tommy Sackett don't have. He got at least one news channel behind him. And that news channel dug and dug and dug. And eventually, it came out that there was this cabal, this group of government lawyers who had it in for General Flynn. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a cabal, a group of government lawyers who've got it in for Jay Noland, and they've got it in for multi-level marketing. They hate multi-level marketing because to them, it seems like, of course, people are being taken advantage of. Now, our good friend Luke Curry had a friend who was also involved in Success. Oh, so Luke Curry quits. Within 3 weeks, there's about 25 complaints filed by his friends with the FTC. Those complaints are bunkus. They are not true. A couple of them have recanted. A couple of them were sued. They signed affidavits saying, we don't know that he did anything wrong. But if you listen to the FTC, these are bona fide, honest-to-goodness complaints, not things that were filed with the government for a vendetta. Now, I'm going to show you something here. This is one of his good friends was a guy named Jason Johnson. Jason Johnson and Luke Curry were both making lots of money at Success by Health. And I put on the screen here a text message. And I'm going to read this to you as you read it on there. And I'm going to read this verbatim, okay? I usually don't speak with this kind of language. I like to be a little bit more elegant in my speech than this. But this is Jason Johnson, who is talking to Francois Hewing, who is another affiliate of Success by Health. And you see the headline at the top, FTC acts to shut down Success by Health instant coffee pyramid scheme. That's just the sort of bunkus you would expect the government to say. Because in the press now, they're trying this man as though it's a fait accompli, and that is scandalous defamation. Then he says, guess probably knew though. Guess you probably do. And then Francois says, yes, I know about it. Then Jason Johnson says, sorry, man. Hope y'all that stuck with it weren't too deep in. Soon as I seen all that other bullshit that was lied about, I bounced. Then those motherfuckers tried to sue me. They fucked up there. Blasted their ass. More to come. Francois writes back and says, I'm not worried about it. Next page here. I'm not worried about it. I did nothing wrong, so I feel good about everything that I have done. Then Jason says, I know you didn't. Nobody did except the ones named in the case. Jay, Scott, Tommy. Just sucks that people hurt other people that way. And Francois, who gets this text message out of the blue and is selling product and making money, says back to Jason, what way? I'm confused, to be honest. I have advanced, started ranking, but that was only after I stopped being lazy. Hurt other people in what way? Well, at this point in time, Jason gets the message. He realized that Francois was not going to jump on this bandwagon. So he says, laugh out loud, LOL. And me, never mind, man. Take care and good luck. Francois says, I don't know, just doesn't make sense to me. Thanks, brother, take care. Well, it doesn't make sense. Francois had it dead on. I've talked to Francois on the phone. Francois tells me that he knows and understood, and it was always told him that what you got to do with Success by Health is, well, you can't be lazy. He said, and again, I'll address this. He says you got to get up off your derriere. That's a fancy word for butt. You got to get off your derriere and work. You got to sell product. If you sell product, you're going to get money. And what do you get? You get a 10% commission for selling the product. But the FTC, they don't believe that. They don't think that that is true. They think that you're getting a 10% commission because you're recruiting other people, kind of like Mr. Ponzi in the 20s and 30s, and you're only getting money from new people so you can give it to the old people and you're not selling any product. Well, multi-level marketing is legal in America. I have read the declarations of the FTC's experts, one of whom is an economist who doesn't know up from down. When I was in college, I wrote a workbook in microeconomic theory about how markets work, and they used that in the MBA program at Brigham Young University, where I attended school, to teach MBA students about economics. So when I read something that an economist says that doesn't make any sense, you're not doing a rain dance on me. I can see through that, and I can tell there's nothing there. Well, I've hired a great expert. I've hired an expert who believes in the free market, who understands what multi-level marketing is and what a boon it is to Americans. And I'll tell you why it's a boon to Americans, and I'll tell you why people like these FTCs don't like it. It's a boon to Americans because for a little bit of money, for heaven's sakes, $49, you can become an affiliate. There's no requirement that you go to any training. There's no requirement that you buy product. You just become an affiliate, and then if you do buy product, you get a 10% commission for either buying it yourself or having somebody else buy it through you. That's America. That should be. Now, the FTC has shut that down. They've told all of you out there that you can't get commissions, that's illegal. You can't get a commission for selling product. I'm going to stuff that down their throats because that's not America. And when I get through with this case, I am convinced that Success by Health will be able to pay those commissions to people who have been selling product and earning those commissions. Can't do it now because the court has said, well, maybe that's illegal. In fact, the court has said that's likely illegal, but it's likely illegal because of what those FTC lawyers said. Well, those FTC lawyers are wrong. The FTC lawyers did not show the judge about Luke Curry and his adulterous affair with Riley Qualls, and how come then he had this vendetta when he had to quit. No, they didn't show him about that. They didn't show him these obnoxious text messages from Luke Curry's friend, Jason Johnson, who says, those motherfuckers are going to get it now. These are people on a vendetta. And it's hurting Jay and Scott and Tommy. It is hurting Success by Media. It is hurting Success by Health. And I'm here to fix it. It's hurting you. It's hurting you in a couple of ways. They put a receiver into this case. It's a very nice lady named Kim Friday, former prosecutor from the United States Attorney's Office, has no business sense at all. She does exactly what the FTC tells her to do. She is their puppet, in my opinion. And she's all for shutting this company down and liquidating it. She was appointed in January. She couldn't even get her act together well enough and to ship product until June. She just didn't. We have $1.4 million worth of product in a warehouse in Kentucky. I'm guaranteeing you. If Jay and Scott and Tommy were in charge of this company, we'd not only have moved that product out and you'd have it, we'd have bought more and we'd continue to grow this business. You know, this business grew fabulously. Lots of people have made lots of money. One of the things that has just delighted me about this case is I've seen the letters, unsolicited letters, I didn't know this was going on, of people who have written the judge in this case, telling him that his orders have screwed up their life, that they can't get the product, that this receiver doesn't know what she's doing, and have destroyed for these people who have submitted these letters to the judge their ability to make money. Now, some of them weren't making a lot of money, $200, $300, $400 a month, but some of them were making thousands of dollars a month. And you know what? It seems to me like the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, which was instituted in the 1930s to protect competition and to protect consumers, is not doing that in this case. It's lost sight of what its mission is. Now it's trying to take you guys, the consumers, and tell you what you can and cannot do in America. And it's outrageous. And the judge, this former prosecutor guy, he's sitting there in his office. Nobody's talking to him. So I was real glad when he started getting letters from people saying, "Judge, you done wrong. This is hurting me." When we try this case, I'm going to put people like that on the witness stand. So this judge knows that this is a bona fide company that sells a bona fide product to bona fide customers who get a bona fide return for selling product. It's not for recruiting people. Now, let me give you an example of the sort of things that the FTC takes out of context. Jay does these heat calls. He does these meetings that help you be a better person, that helps you realize your potential. These are great meetings. I've listened to them. I've seen his red meetings. All these things are taped. Well, the FTC's lawyers look in there and they'll find something in there that they can take out of context where it says, you're all going to be millionaires. I'm sorry, it's not there, because there are different ways to say things, and we all know this. You can't put a spin on it. You got to listen to the whole thing. It might be like this. "Hey, Jay, tell you what, I can make you a millionaire." And Jay goes, "Hey, that would be great. What?" I says, "Well, all you got to do is work really hard, and I'll give you some product to sell. If you sell enough of it, you can be a millionaire." Do they put on that little tag about you got to sell the product? No, they just say, "I'll make you a millionaire." They take that out and say, that's what he's telling these people, and it's a lie because none of them have become millionaires yet. Well, you know what? Jay had another company a few years ago called Organo Gold. He made millionaires in that company doing the same thing there that he's doing here. But now he's got a better product, he's got better people, and it is on a system that if people work, if they sell it, if they are able to market themselves well enough that they can sell this product, this does have the potential to make you to be a millionaire. Time frame for that? Who knows? But who goes to one of these seminars that Jay puts on that says he's going to make you a better person and doesn't leave that feeling like you're a better person, that you're not motivated, that you think you're better than you are? That value for just going to that seminar is worth every penny that you pay for it. People pay millions and millions and millions of dollars to people to do that sort of thing. Jay does it. He's one of the best in the business. And yet the FTC says, you guys are required to go to those meetings. And you don't get anything out of it. And so it's a fraud. You ask yourself, those of you who have been to those inspirational, motivational meetings, if you left as a better person. Now, here's what's really great. In October 2018, there was an event, I think it was in San Diego, wasn't it?
Carlsbad.
Carlsbad, right above there, yeah. Carlsbad, California, where a lot of the people who filed complaints with the FTC, less than a month later, we have on videotape saying what a great experience this is, what a great company this is. And what happened? Luke got those guys to help him with his vendetta, because he's got it in for Jay, because Jay caught him as a philanderer, stepping out on his wife, stepping out on his 3 children, one of whom is his special needs children, telling this innocent Riley Qualls, I love you. I'm going to leave my wife. Our marriage is over. You jump in the sack with me and we'll have a wonderful life together. I can take you back to the Greek tragedies. 400-500 years BC, same story. It's been happening all through human existence. And all of us know how that story turns out. Riley Qualls gets kicked to the curb. And this guy goes on like, well, life is, that's what men get to do. Not in Success by Health. Very moral company. And I am proud to be the lawyer for this company. And I told, I hate to use this analogy, because my dad was a major in World War II. We had a nasty drag-out fight against the Germans in Europe. The Germans almost seem unbeatable. Did you know that Hitler gave his troopers amphetamines? They gave him amphetamines so that they didn't have to sleep and they could keep charging against the Allies. We didn't give our troops amphetamines. Hitler did that. Well, he had a great tank commander by the name of Joachim Pfeiffer. At the Battle of the Bulge, one of Hitler's last pushes, he sent Colonel Pfeiffer with his Tiger Tank Division to go take Bastogne and push the Allies into the sea and turn the tide of the war. The Tiger tanks were so much better than the American tanks. Our shells bounced off them. Guess what? Colonel Pfeiffer ran out of gas. He didn't have fuel for his tanks. So on their march to beat the Allies, being out of gas, just a few kilometers short of the Allied storehouse for fuel, no gas, his tank corps walked back to Germany. And so I tell Jay, all you got to do is put gas in my tank, and we will beat these guys. Because I will not retreat, and I will win, because I do believe in truth and justice. I do believe if you present the case in the courtroom correctly, you're going to win. And trust me, if you read what I'm filing with the court, it will ring true to your soul. Because every one of us knows what the truth is. And I've talked too much. Jay. What do you want me to say now?
Well, this really touched me. I know it's really helped a lot of you hearing from Daryl in such a eloquent yet passionate way. We can tell he believes in what we're doing. And when we started this, we had the same passion that you've seen demonstrated with our attorney. That's why we started this company. We believe in our Constitution. here in the United States of America. We believe, we just celebrated the 4th of July. There's people that died so that we had the right, the pursuit of what? Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. That's what we built this company upon. And here we are now. We're in a peculiar situation because I feel that we have not received due process. Would you think that's...
Not yet, but it's coming. I'm here.
Okay, so what we got to do is pull together. Why are we having this particular meeting? We wanted you to hear direct. We wanted you to hear straightforward truth. And now we got to pull together the issue that we have.
Let me say something here.
Okay.
I think we're getting some comments and questions from people who are listening.
Yeah.
We have about 10 minutes left on this presentation.
Yeah.
I promise you that everyone who has submitted a question, either I or Jay will answer it.
Yes.
And so if you've submitted a question and you include your email or contact information, we'll respond.
Yes.
And you can email me, for heaven's sakes. I'm not going to give you advice about the case, but I will tell you what's going on. And I know people like Jody Bear. I just want to hug Jody Bear in Florida. She's a wonderful person. She's at the top of the affiliate list. She gets everything I file in court. And there are people like that. You can get all this stuff.
Yep. So, great that you said that, because we have a private group set up now on Facebook where Daryl is a part of that group. We can answer a lot of those questions right inside that. We can do a Facebook Live there.
Sure.
And we can answer questions right there. We want to keep you guys informed because we're going in the trenches in this case. But here's what we need, because our hands are tied because of the way this preliminary injunction is written. And again, we don't blame the judge. We just don't believe that he's had an opportunity to see all the facts. And now we have a professional that we believe is going to show the judge all of the true facts and get rid of all of these, I call diversions that's been placed here. So here's what we need. We need to come together. I need your help. My wife needs your help. Scott Harris, his wife and family needs your help. Tommy Sacca, his wife, his family needs your help. Our mission that we put together, it really needs your help. We have to figure out a way, as I've always taught, to adapt and overcome. So right now, we're asking everybody to pull together. We've got a lot of people watching this. There's a lot of people going to watch the replay of this. And we've got a link put up because we've got some folks that says, hey, we want to help in coordinating donations. We've been 6 months, we're going on over 6 months now where we've had to depend on the donations from our friends, from family members, which we're so appreciative of. I will never forget it. And at this particular time, we can't make any promises to repay any money. But people know me. People know Scott Harris. People know Tommy Sacca. We will never forget who helps us now. As a matter of fact, I believe America and the free markets around the world, we got people in from all over the world watching this. I believe they will never forget the help that we get right now. If we all pull together, we've got a goal. We need to raise $300,000 ASAP. I've always told you the truth. I've always been direct. We've got to raise $300,000. Now, we've got thousands of affiliates in this company. We're going to have thousands of people that watch this. Just imagine if everybody could figure out a way to just donate at least $1,000. Whether you did it yourself or you pulled together some family and friends and said, this is for freedom, which I'll let Daryl comment on. This is for the sake of freedom. This man is fighting for the constitutional rights, not just of Success by Health, not just of the industry of direct sales, but what's going on. We can all see it. What's going on in this country right now? The Constitution that we just keep talking about is getting trampled on, and we can't let that happen anymore. So being that I've had to go through this heartache, my family, I had to look at my son. I was embarrassed at the LAX airport, my precious, precious 4-year-old son that I give my life for right now. I got pulled out of line by customs agents, and I got served by the government that's supposed to protect me. We're at 20 years now. This agency has been literally terrorizing me when I believe they should have been protecting me. They sued me as a distributor for a company I was not even with 20 years ago. Why? I don't know. You know, sometimes I wonder, is it the color of my skin? I got to look. I've had so many people in Success by Health say, this has to be racial profiling. It has to be. We've got civil rights organizations that are reaching out and we're talking to them. They're coming back, figuring out what is going on here. So I'd like Daryl to talk about, we've got a link that we're putting up on this screen in the chat room. You'll see a link go up in the chat room. We'll put it on the Facebook page. We'll send it out. If you can help, which I know everybody can, it's a matter of want and will. If you can help, we're just never going to forget it. We want to do this for the future generations. Daryl, can you comment a little bit to wrap us up?
Yeah. And I got to remember, being in a lawsuit is worse than owning a boat. Anybody who's ever owned a boat knows that it's a hole in the water for money. You own that boat and you spend more money maintaining that boat than just about anything. Now, I own an airplane. My wife is not excited about me owning an airplane because there's a lot of maintenance on an airplane, and it's a black hole for money. A lawsuit is worse because you spend money, you win, and you don't get it back. It is an issue of what's the price of honor. So anybody who donates, you have to figure you're donating. You're believing in the company, you're believing in Jay, you believe in America, you believe in our freedoms, but it isn't tax deductible. You ain't getting it back. It's just some little thing you can do to help. And it is so, so very important. So, again, we can pull together. You know, I'm at a time right now that we could have just threw in the towel early on. We could have. Scott, Tom, and I, we talked about what do we do? We said no. We gave every one of these affiliates our word that they'd have a company for the generations, that they deserve this company. Every one of the affiliates. One second. So here's what's going on. I want you to understand that if you all pull together, you will be donating, but you'll be donating in a fight for freedom. We need your help for legal fees. We've got some expenses we got to take care of, you know, and so we've all got families. Daryl's got a family. And here's what I've seen. The demand on his time. You know, Daryl was featured on Diabetes Forecast. He was responsible. He wrote a petition for rulemaking change filed with the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. He's responsible for getting the laws to where diabetics could actually fly a plane. How many years ago was that? That was in the late 90s. It took me almost 10 years to do that. I couldn't have done it without the help of people. Well over 100,000 people who I marshaled to do that. Because when you're dealing against a behemoth like the government, it takes a lot to get them to move. And this is a great thing. And because of that, policemen can have diabetes and have jobs. You can have diabetes and be a fireman. And diabetes is no longer a handicap like it was. You're not stigmatized because of diabetes. Because if pilots can fly, why can't you be a fireman? Or a policeman? Or an emergency medical caregiver?
So you were the first person
in the world
to do what?
To get a medical certificate that allowed me to fly, notwithstanding the fact that I had type 1 diabetes. I had flown for years before. Suddenly I went from, a normal human being to a pancreas that didn't work, had to take insulin. They jerked my medical certificate. I couldn't fly. I thought, this is not right. And I was told by the Federal Air Surgeon General John Jordan to my face with his chief of medical specialties, Dr. Harsh, sitting right next to him. This will never happen on my watch. Almost 10 years later, he called me on the phone. He says, oh, Daryl, I give up. If I'm going to eat crow, I'm going to sign this new law. And there's a big story here, by the way. And I became the first one to get a medical certificate with diabetes signed by the Federal Air Surgeon General himself. We can do the same thing in this case.
Right.
We just got to have gas in the tank so our tanks don't stop in the field of battle and we got to walk home.
And I believe we'll pull it together. I know the heart of the people. You know, I haven't been able to talk. Scott hasn't been able to talk. Tommy hadn't been able to talk. We got a stipulation court order.
Yep.
To where we now can what?
We can talk. We can talk to all the affiliates anytime we want. There are some things we can't say. We can't promise you you're going to get your back commissions. But I'll tell you, it's my opinion, they're going to lose. And if that happens, I know these people. And it is my opinion you're going to get paid.
So we're coming full throttle in the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, in the spirit of faith. And we're asking each and every one of you to really dig down. If you came here today to watch this for a reason, we need your help. Everybody, we're asking you to pull together, do at least something. If you can do at least 1,000, just imagine if we have at least 1,000 people donate at least $1,000. That gives us the war chest we need to go handle this and do it in the most professional and the most expeditious way possible. I see the demand on Daryl's time, and I see the time he's putting into this case. Tommy sees it, Scott sees it, and he is having to turn away some money because of his belief in us. And because he's doing that, I told him that I believe we've got the people in our circle that can pull together, that will stand up and fight right here, right now. So we appreciate you coming in here, taking time with us today. We'll get this rebroadcast where it's streaming out to you right away. I got a team over here that'll work on that ASAP to get that done. Thank you, Daryl. Any parting words?
You're a good man, Jay.
You're a great man.
We're going to win this deal.
I appreciate you.
You got that? We're going to win this deal.
Thank you, everybody.